He must be joined.
Sir, what is that? What is that, sir? Hello.
Okay, बेटा, thank you.
Hello.
बस अभी तो टाइम में थोड़ा कम लोग आए हैं पर हाँ
Hello.
No, sir. He was just checking whether you are on.
Yes, I am on. Yes.
Yeah. Our chief guest has just joined, sir.
Chief guest is going to join at 3 o'clock.
He's joined already.
He joined. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, and Professor Raghu Prakash is also joined.
Okay, that's good. Dr. Anandvalli, welcome. Good afternoon to you, please.
Thank you.
Dr. Anandvalli, madam, I am Professor Varde.
Yeah.
President of CISA. Namaste. Thank you for gracing the occasion.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you so much. In your busy schedule, you could chip out some time for us. And our conference chairman is Professor Raghu Prakash. I think you can see him from IIT Madras on the screen.
Hello. Hello. Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm fine now.
Okay.
And of course, Balaji Rao sir is also co-chairman for this conference. Yeah. So you can see him.
He's our former chief scientist and advisor.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now emeritus scientist.
Yeah.
It's like we are presently in the meeting room. We are discussing before the conference, Of course, tea is missing from here because of this virtual mode. We are waiting for some more participants to join, madam.
Okay.
Totally, we expect, I think, around 60. But today, election day and a lot of excitement, and many would have been in the field. So we'll wait for 5 minutes or so.
We'll wait.
Yeah.
Anandvalli, madam, will you be making any presentation, ma'am?
No presentation, sir. I will just talk for 5 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Sir, you can see that our YouTube live streaming is also going on. And I have sent the YouTube link to all the participants. So in case if they are not able to view here, they can view over there also.
Okay, madam. But they should get the link, no?
Yeah, he has shared.
Yes, I have shared, sir.
Yes.
I have shared. I have already sent just now. I have shared.
So I'll brief you, madam. We have to just.
Can
This
we?
conference is mainly organized by SESA Chennai chapter,
Okay.
and then other organizations like Shiv Nadar Institute University, and then we have Center for Reliability branch of STQC in Chennai.
Good.
They are also organizing partner. And then of course, you know, your organization CSI or ACRC is one of the partner, and of course IIT Madras. Actually, we are setting up a center of excellence in. Professor Raghu Prakash can talk more on this. We are setting up a center, and probably this center has given this impetus for us to go for this conference on safety and reliability. This is our 5th conference. Actually, it is a series of conference product of SRESA, and every year, if possible, we organize this conference. And then we have another product is international conference, that is ICRESH, International Conference on Reliability, Safety and Hazard. That we do more than 3 years to 5 years anytime, you know.
Okay.
So these are our, and then there are some workshops, you know, and courses. These are our way of reaching, you know, outreach of sort of thing, you know, in India.
It's required. Actually, we need to interact more and then have to avoid repetition of work. Maybe we can co-work with others of the same.
Correct. Balaji Rao Sahab, what do you say? We'll wait for 5 more minutes if you feel.
Yeah, I think so, sir. We will wait for another 5 minutes and.
As of now, there are 44 participants.
44 participants.
Yes.
Okay.
Then I think we can start then. Because you know, people who have come on time, probably they should be justified. So I invite Madam Sujata Madam to, now the floor is yours. Please start conducting the conference. Sujata Madam. Is Sujata Madam around?
She's online. I don't know.
I think.
Sujata Madam.
Hello.
Sir?
Yeah, you can start the program, madam.
Okay, sir. Fine.
We're waiting for you.
So just waiting for the instructions.
Yeah, we're.
I think let the invocation song be played. We can inform Dr. Sujata Madam.
Yeah, I've sent a message, sir.
Okay. Sir.
Dr. Sujata Madam, are you live?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can start the program. The
Yes,
floor is
yes,
yours.
yes.
You can start it.
Okay.
We're waiting for you.
Okay. Dignitaries, distinguished delegates, young researchers, a very good evening. It gives me great pleasure to extend you all a very warm welcome on behalf of the organizing committee of the 5th National Conference on Reliability and Safety, NCRS-2022, organized virtually. This version of NCRS is organized by the Society of Reliability and Safety, SRESA, Chennai chapter, and the Center of Excellence on Safety Critical System, IIT Madras, in association with the Indian Institute of Risk and Reliability, CSIR-SCRC Chennai, Center for Reliability Chennai, and Shubnadar University Chennai. We begin the inaugural program with an invocation to invoke the blessings of Almighty and pay our respects to our motherland. Now, I would like to invite Professor Raghu B. Prakash, Professor, Department of Mechanical Energy, Engineering, IIT Madras, and the Head, Center of Excellence on Safety Critical Systems, and one of the chairpersons of NCRS-2022 to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, madam. Good afternoon. I think for those who are not speaking, they can mute their mics. Yeah, good afternoon. On behalf of the organizing committee of the 5th National Conference on Reliability and Safety, NCRS 2022, it's my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to the chief guest of the evening, Dr. Anandavalli, Director, CSIR SCRC Chennai, Dr. Prabhakar Varde, Rajaraman Fellow, Department of Atomic Energy, also Honorary Professor of Practice at IIT Madras, and Dr. K. Balaji Rao, Emeritus Scientist, CSIR SCRC Chennai, Dr. Senthil Kumar, Officer in charge of the Southern Regional Regulatory Center, AERB, all the distinguished guests, invited speakers, presenting authors of the contributed papers, delegates, volunteers, sponsors of the NCRS 2022. I welcome you once again to this 5th edition of this NCRS. This conference is being organized by the Society for Reliability and Safety, especially the Chennai chapter, and the Center of Excellence on Safety Critical Systems of IIT Madras, in association with the CSIR Structural Engineering Research Center, Chennai, Shivnadar University, Chennai, Indian Institute of Risk and Reliability, and Center for Reliability, Chennai. As many of you may be aware, IIT Madras ranks the first in the technical institutions of India ever since the national ranking scheme commenced, and we rank the first in the overall rankings of the universities as well. We continue to rank the first in the Atal ranking of institutions on innovative achievements, which is also called as ARIIA. Ours is also one of the few coveted institutes with the Institute of Eminence rating, and the Center of Excellence on Safety Critical Systems is a constituent center of the Institute of Eminence scheme. This center is co-promoted by Dr. Prabhakar Varde based on our interactions for the last 17 years in various professional capacities. Thanks to the efforts put in by the Institute administration, the faculty, students, and by the unstinted support extended by many of you, in fostering the research culture at IIT Madras. We do have a research park, which has been very active in several developments. I'm sure with all your support, we will scale much higher peaks in the near future under the leadership of our new director, Professor V. Kamakoti, also known as the Shakti Chip Man of India. NCRS 2022, about which you will hear more from Dr. Balaji Rao immediately after my welcome speech, is an evidence of successful collaboration between the academia, government R&D labs, industry, and professional societies. This conference is being held in virtual mode or the online mode in view of the pandemic waves that the world and the nation included went through over the last 2 years. How I wish we could have met in person to have a lively interaction as well as explore the campus of IIT Madras. I hope the nature will be kind enough to host the next meeting in an in-person mode. Before I conclude, in view of some medical emergencies at home, I could not actively participate in the conference organization over the last 10 days. And based on the emergency meeting held by the NCRS organizing team, the schedule was maintained as per the original plan. And I would like to profusely thank all the organizing committee members who pitched in and soul-heartedly and full-heartedly organized this to bring this conference to this format. It gave me an assurance that things can go on with me or even without me. Adequate safety has been built in the organization of this conference so that the risk is minimized. With these few words, I would like to once again welcome all of you to the 5th edition of the National Conference on Reliability and Safety. Thank you very much. Over to you, Dr. Sujata.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Next, I request Dr. K. Balaji Rao, CSIR SCRC Chennai, and one of the chairpersons of NCRS-2022 to kindly brief the audience about the conference.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Respected Chief Guest Dr. N. Anandavalli, Conference Keynote Speaker Professor Kapoor, Professor Raghu Prakash, Dr. Valde, Dr. Sendil Kumar, Dr. Muthu Kumar, Dr. Sujata, representatives of Springer, eminent members of various committees of NCRS 2022, invitees, keynote speakers, authors, participants of the conference, greetings to all of you. The Society for Reliability and Safety, SRESA as it is called, abbreviated as SRESA, Mumbai, has been organizing national conference periodically with an objective to promote and develop reliability and safety engineering sciences. Dr. Varde has been the force behind this movement. I can tell you. Yeah. As we all know, reliability and safety are given utmost importance during the design and operation of any engineering systems, and especially in critical applications such as nuclear power plants, aircraft systems, chemical industries, and so on and so forth. In the past, 4 national conferences of SRESA were organized at various locations. The first one was at Anna University, Trichy, during February 13 to 15, 2014. The second conference was at Anna University again, Chennai this time, during October 8 to 10, 2015. The third was at SSN College of Engineering during December 1 to 3, 1st to 3rd, 2016. The fourth conference was at Jabalpur during February 26, 28, 2018. And now, through the virtual mode, together with IIT Madras, IIRR, CSIR, SCRC, Shivanadar University, and CFR Chennai, this conference is being organized. Now, you can see from the above, we can see that this RESA conference has been held in Tamil Nadu 4 out of 5 times. So, I'm very happy about it. I'm sure that this conference will be rolling on, and Chennai has been very active in this, Tamil Nadu has been very active in conducting this conference. For the 5th conference NCRS 2022, we received about 57 abstracts covering most of the focus areas of safety and reliability mentioned in our flyer. The conference committee examined these abstracts for their appropriateness for the conference. They grouped the abstracts into relevant categories depending on focus areas, and 12 technical sessions have been arranged. The team NCRS-2022 has brought out a book of abstracts. It would be released shortly by our chief guest. The authors of the abstracts have been requested to submit the papers for review for inclusion in the proceedings to be brought out after the conference. About 35 papers have already been submitted, and they are all under peer review process for possible inclusion in the proceedings. I request those authors who have not submitted the papers yet to submit the same at the earliest so that the conference proceedings can be brought out in right time. The authors of those papers, which have been recommended for publication in this RESA journal, about which the Springer person is going to talk about, of a Journal of Life Cycle Reliability and Safety Engineering, would be requested to expand. The authors would be requested to expand the contents of the paper for possible publication in the journal. Though all focus areas are of high relevance, in view of time, each day will cover 4 technical sessions, one parallel session in the first half covering 2 technical sessions, and another parallel session covering other 2 technical sessions. There will be 6 keynote lectures by eminent researchers preceding each parallel session. I wish the conference provides a good platform for exchange of information in the multidisciplinary area of reliability and safety through lively discussions among the academics, industry participants, researchers, and research students. We are thankful to our platinum sponsors, Mrs. RelSafe Private Limited, and one more sponsor, Oasis. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. I hope I have given the overall arrangement that has been done in this conference. And now I request all the authors to present the papers later during the sessions, and the keynote speakers to present the keynote speeches. And we are very thankful to all the keynote speakers to have accepted to deliver these keynote speeches at a very short time. And also we are also thankful to the authors for making presentation during this conference. Thank you very much. Thanks to one and all. Thank you. Over to Dr. Sujata Madam.
Thank you, Balaji Rao sir, for briefing us about the conference. A series of national level annual conferences and international conferences on reliability and safety would not have been possible without the efforts and support rendered by the President of Society of Reliability and Safety, Professor Prabhakar Varde. May I now request him to deliver the presidential address. Varde sir, please.
Sir, you are muted, sir.
Sir, you have to unmute. Dr. Varde sir, you have to unmute.
Thank you, Sujata Madam. The chief guest of SRESA's 5th National Conference on Reliability and Safety, Dr. Anandavali, Director, CSIR SARC, Conference Co-Chairman, Professor Raghu Prakash, IIT Madras, Dr. Balaji Rao and Dr. Balaji Rao, Emeritus Scientist, CSR ACRC, Conference Patrons, and Advisory, Technical and Organizing Committee members, Professor B. Venkatraman, Director, IGCAR. He has blessed his message to the conference. Conference keynote speaker, Professor P.K. Kapoor, Director, Interdisciplinary Research, Amity University. Professor J. Nizevic, Mercy Academy, UK. Professor Bernard Rolf, Deakin University, Australia. Professor C.S. Manohar, IISc Bangalore. Professor Bedurya Bhattacharya, IIT Kharagpur. Professor Subrata Chakravarti, IEST Shivpur. Good afternoon and a greeting from SRESA. It is indeed my privileged duty to extend warm welcome from me and from my SRESA family members to all the distinguished and eminent dignitaries. I sincerely thank you that you took your valuable time from the busy schedule and grace NCRS 5, the 5th National Conference in NCRS series. I also welcome the dignitaries sitting in the audience, contributor of papers and participant of this conference, sponsors, Ms. Relesef, and ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to provide a brief account of the growth of SRESA activities since its inception in 2010. Whenever I brief about SRESA, these moments become emotional for me because I was involved in SRESA since its founding till today. So, but I'll take you to the short history of SRESA growth and its various activities. If I go back into the history, I can recall that the seed of having a reliability society was sown during our first International Conference on Reliability and Safety, we call ICRESH, organized in 2005. Even though it took long time of 5 years, however, finally, the SRESA came and formally launched in 2010. So SRESA's inception started in 2010. Since then, SRESA organized 3 ICRESH events. So one was ICRESH 2005 and 3 more ICRESH events, out of which 2 were in Mumbai and 1 in Luleå, Sweden. In fact, the 4th ICRESH was also organized in IIT Madras in 2019. Given the high academic quality of technical sessions, participation from the India and abroad, highly rated publications, ICRESH has now earned reputation of being one of the popular brand among other conferences in the area of risk and reliability. I take this opportunity to announce that SRESA is planning to organize ICRESH 2024, the 5th one in the series, and we request intent of interest from academic and R&D institutions for organizing the next ICRESH in the series, that is ICRESH 2024. Actually, SRESA started with ICRESH events. However, it was felt that SRESA national forum is required to create opportunity at national level for sharing of ideas, technical discussions, presentation of results, reviews, and expert comments on the ongoing research program in India. Therefore, the first national conference, that is National Conference on Reliability and Safety, NCRS, was organized in Anna University in 2014. The success of the first NCRS gave required impetus to organize NCRS 2, NCRS 3, NCRS 4 at Center for Reliability Chennai, SSNU Chennai, and IIT-DM Jabalpur respectively. As you can see, SRESA activities were profound and around Chennai area. The reason is the dedication and enthusiasm that can be seen in the academic and R&D section in Chennai and area around this state capital of Tamil Nadu. I am delighted to bring to your kind notice that SRESA's International Journal of Life Cycle Reliability and Safety Engineering, in short we call LRSE, was launched in 2012, has become India in general and SRESA's flag bearer at national and international level. Initially, SRESA itself took the responsibility for publishing this journal and successfully published this journal for 5 years till 2016, when a contract was signed with the Springer to publish this journal in India at international level. Springer has been publishing this journal for 5 years. To this effect, you know, we are also commemorating 10 years of SRESA journal publication as part of this inaugural program, and that event will follow now. Other activities including publication of quarterly SRESA newsletter, organization of workshops in the area of risk and reliability, etc. I feel happy to bring to your kind notice that when SRESA was registered with Charity Commissioner in 2010, we were a handful of members, around 20, mostly from Department of Atomic Energy, while the present strength has reached to around 250, which is an achievement, I would say, given the field is very abstract and all. In fact, most of the premier organizations in India like IITs and academic institutions, R&D organizations like BARC, ISRO, DRDO, RRCAT, IGCAR, and other organizations like NPCI, ARB are well represented in SRESA. Now I come to our major ongoing projects and future program. Often it is commented that one of the metrics for assessing a country's status as to how advanced it is based on availability of its own national codes and standards. In last 1 year, SRESA took this initiative for developing engineering standards, codes and guides. Here, I would like to inform you that the draft of SRESA's first standard on probabilistic risk assessment for nuclear power plants has been developed, and now further work is in progress for review and final approval. This standard will set the ball rolling for other standards to follow, for which our Indian energy industry has been waiting for at national level. We are actively working on SRESA's last dream or say ambitious project, that is setting up an Indian Institute of Risk and Reliability. And probably the initiation in terms of academic contribution has already started. This institute has contributed to 2 of our recent conferences. One happened in Indore and now another is here in Chennai. The idea is to develop a world-class university for offering high level of academics and R&D facilities based on Indian ethos and culture. SRESA has 6 chapters: Trichy chapter, Chennai chapter, Western Maharashtra chapter, Jabalpur chapter, Indore, and recently established Anushakti-Nagar Mumbai chapter. Even though SRESA took birth in Mumbai only, but now we are setting up a chapter in a happening place called Anushakti-Nagar. So this is the 6th chapter that has come into existence. And I think we are planning many more chapters to be established so that SRESA has its outreach in almost all the corners as a pan-India society. Before I conclude, I have 2 important announcements. All the SRESA Life members are entitled to free access to the SRESA Journal of Life Cycle Reliability and Safety Engineering. This journal is very expensive, but all SRESA member can afford it free by logging in, and there is some procedure which you can find out from the website or from the person we have assigned. This facility has been made available for over 2 years, but I am not sure how many of you are using or taking benefit of this facility. The second announcement is, this is for authors and presenters of contributed papers. SRESA's Best Paper Awards, jointly sponsored by SRESA and Springer. So submit the full-length paper at the earliest. Thank you. With these announcements, I conclude my address. Thank you for your patient hearing. Once again, a big thanks to all of you. Thank you very much, madam. Over to you.
Thank you, Vardhe sir. A special thanks to you to make the Life Cycle Reliability Journal accessible to all the SRESA members. So next, I would like to invite Dr. K. Balaji Rao to kindly introduce our chief guest, Dr. N. Anandavalli, to the audience. Balaji Rao, sir.
I am there. I will just introduce. And now I will read out the brief biodata of our chief guest, N. Anandavalli. Dr. N. Anandavalli is presently the Director, CSIR ACRC Structural Engineering Research Center, Chennai. She completed her graduation from University of Madras in 1991 with University first rank and won the Rao Bahadur S. Subbarayacharya Gold Medal. She received Ministry of Human Resources Scholarship for pursuing her postgraduate studies at PSG College of Technology, Coimbatore, between the years 1991 to 1993, where she was ranked first. She received the CSIR, JRF, and SRF fellowship during the years 1993 to 96. After working for a brief period in design consultancy firms, she joined CSIR ACRC as scientist in 1998. She was awarded PhD degree from Anna University for her doctoral studies on experimental and analytical studies on laced reinforced concrete and laced steel concrete composite elements, which was highly commended by Indian and foreign examiners. Her research interests include fast response behavior of structures, computational methods, sustainable materials, and multi-scale modeling of composite materials. Her research contributions are towards strategic areas, which is of national importance. She is the recipient of the Sir Arthur Cotton Memorial Prize 2003, John C. Gammon Prize 2016 from the Institution of Engineers, India, and Dr. M. Ramaya Prize 2017 from CSIR ACRC for the best papers she has published. She was awarded the Raman Research Fellowship 2014-15 to conduct research on investigations on behavior of concrete using mesoscale models at Department of Civil Engineering, Johns Hopkins University, Baltimore, USA. She was recognized as one of the India's most inspiring women engineers and scientists by Engineering Watch for the year 2014. She has been nominated by Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu as one of the Senate members of the Bharathidasan University, Tiruchirappalli, for a period of 3 years since August 2019. She has one US patent and Indian patent granted on latest composite system based on her work. She is a member of BIS committee CED 39.2 blast resistant design of structures and BIS committee CED 38 special structures and sectional committees. Structures sectional committee. She has mentored many graduate and postgraduate students from various engineering colleges and universities. She is guiding few PhD students for their doctoral work. In addition to her role as director, CSIR SCRC, she is coordinating director for CSIR Madras Complex Center, consisting of regional units of 5 CSIR laboratories. She is also leading the civil infrastructure and engineering team of CSIR as the team director and functioning as the director of engineering coordination of CSIR. She has been nominated as a member to the planning board of Bharathidasan University for a period of 3 years since February 2022. Though she has many more firsts, she is the first woman director of the CRC. I am very proud to say that, very happy to say that. She is the first woman director of SCRC and she has many more laurels, but I requested only half a page. So I am keeping it to the half page. I am requesting now Dr. Anandavalli make the chief guest speak.
Thank you, sir, for your nice introduction. Maybe some of the things you have exaggerated, maybe, whether I'm, and it gives me more responsibility to move forward with great enthusiasm. So, President, Society for Reliability and Safety, Professor Prabhakar Varde, chairpersons of the National Conference on Reliability and Safety, Dr. Raghu Prakash and Dr. Balaji Rao, AERB person, Dr. Senthil Kumar, Dr. Sujata, invited guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. A good afternoon to you all. I'm happy and glad to be present in this virtual inaugural session of the 5th National Conference on Reliability and Safety. On the onset, I thank Dr. Balaji Rao, our former chief scientist and advisor, and presently he is a scientist emeritus, and Dr. Raghu Prasad, Professor, Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. As a structural engineer, reliability and safety are two parameters that is essentially looked upon in design of structures. If I want to define structural engineering, I can define it like this: art of using materials that have properties which can only be estimated to build real structures that can only be approximately analyzed to withstand forces that are not accurately known, so that our responsibility as a structural engineer with respect to public safety is satisfied. So there are areas wherein a lot of uncertainties are involved, right from material property, load coming on the structure. So comes the issue of safety and reliability. Uncertainty is not the same as risk. Uncertainty is when little is known about the event, while risk is outcome of an event which is predicted based on statistical probability. Uncertainty exists when there is more than one possible outcome, and risk exists when a decision is expressed in terms of a range of possible outcomes. The first step in risk assessment is to identify hazards, after which it may be possible to treat risks, thereby preventing them. Disaster risk management, disaster risk reduction are emerging as systematic approaches to reduce the impact of natural or man-made disasters on the built environment. Countries are approaching disaster mitigation from a holistic perspective that includes the performance of the built environment during a natural or man-made disaster. So these natural disasters and the effect of climate change are causing large economic burdens for the cities around the world. Traditionally, natural hazards are considered in the design of a building through various combination of loads prescribed in relevant design codes and standards. It is often the case that the design is governed by a single dominant hazard at a given geographical location. This is particularly true for earthquake and wind hazards. Engineers may nevertheless wonder if a building designed for one of the two dominant hazards will satisfactorily withstand the other. Prior studies have indicated that in some cases, when a building is designed for a single dominant hazard, it does not necessarily provide satisfactory performance against the other hazard. Different design philosophies makes multi-hazard design of structures difficult to handle. The risk of structural collapse is more in case of multiple hazards as compared to a single hazard. The current trend towards building resilient society, enforcing vital structures to be safe with respect to multiple hazards while fulfilling target performance objectives. It is required to carry out investigations on the performance-based design strategy, adoption of novel or smart devices for response mitigation and risk assessment under multi-hazard conditions. This also requires data-driven models and hybrid simulation. Systematic studies will also pave the path to formulate appropriate codal provisions for the design of structures against multiple hazard scenario. Resilience towards disasters occurring during climate change, that is events such as extreme rainfall, coastal flooding, heat or cold wave, cyclones, strong wind warrants the need to develop an improved risk governance framework. This includes integration of disaster risk management and adaptation with climate change in the context of structural design and planning. During a disaster, an increased performance demand is expected from the vital structures to avoid major loss of lives and disruption to economy. This can be achieved by integrating structural safety design principles, which incorporates the design process to identify, address, and mitigate safety issues over the lifespan of the structure, by accounting for the uncertainties and possible environmental conditions. So it is the responsibility of the structural engineers to protect the structures from a variety of natural disasters as well as man-made and ensure their fast recovery. There is a need to develop risk-consistent design approaches and resilience strategies for pre-disaster mitigation and reduce post-disaster recovery costs. These strategies will have a direct impact on structural engineers' work and direction of the development of building codes. So these are some of the things which I would like to highlight. And this conference is an important step towards discussion towards these areas. And finally, I would like to conclude with a Tirukural, Ollum Vayellam Inenente, Ullakal Sellum Vainoki Sayal, which means that when there is a clear way to perform, aim for excellence. If no path is known, search for new ways to accomplish the work, to carry out the work. And with this, I conclude. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Your speech was very informative and we are charmed by your fluency and in-depth knowledge. It's time to look at a fruit of hard work for the first few months. I request our chief guest to kindly release the book of abstracts. The book of abstracts will be shared for view by the audiences.
I declare that the abstract book is now released.
Thank you, ma'am. Please scroll down. Thank you, sir. I would like to inform the participants that the book of abstracts will be uploaded on the conference website shortly after the inaugural. Society for Reliability and Safety has been actively working for developing means and methods for improving system reliability and sharing them with the researchers. Apart from the publication of quarterly newsletters, STRESA has successfully published STRESA International Journal of Life Cycle and Reliability Engineering with the support of Springer. Next, this journal has been successfully publishing for the past 10 years. As a mark of commemoration of completion of a decade of publication of STRESA International Journal of Life Cycle, Reliability and Safety Engineering, we would like to have a small celebration. I request Professor P.V. Verde and Ms. Sonal Chaudhary, the publishing editor of the journal, working with Springer, to take over the session, please.
Thank you, ma'am. I will request you to make me a co-host so that I can share my screen.
Yes, ma'am. Now you're the co-host. Please proceed.
I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Please proceed.
So a very good afternoon to the chief guest, Dr. Verde, and all the dignitaries present on the dais. I'm Sonal Chaudhary. I'm the publishing editor for the LRSC journal, which is being co-published with Springer. Along with me, I have Mr. Chandraman Kami working as an editorial assistant with us and is closely working with me on this journal. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to present here. My presentation is going to be very short and crisp, and I'm just going to start with a little bit of journal overview to give you all an idea how we are doing and what is our plan for future, and some new announcement about the journal also. So moving on, looking at the submissions. Yes, the submissions to the journal are not as per how it should be, considering the other journals in the same subject categories. But then we are working hard towards it, and we hope that the number of submissions, publications will increase this year. This is the turnaround time, which is peer review turnaround time. And it has to be 70 days as per what is the standard peer review time for a journal. So we are a little over than that, and we hope we'll be able to manage this also, because we, along with the assistance from Springer, by sending timely reminders and also sending few reports to the EIC and keep on highlighting where the concerns are, we'll be able to get rid of this high turnaround time. Now, my next slide talks about the author country of origin, which means excuse me, Miss Pallavi wants to join us. Should I admit her? Okay. Yeah. So this slide talks about the author country of origin. And as we can see, most of the submissions are coming to the journal from Central Asia, which also includes India. So we will, but then we are making an effort, and very soon we'll be able to see submissions from other countries like China. We are also getting a number of submissions from Africa, as we can see here. And also there has been 8 submissions from Canada, from Middle East. So we see there is a scope of improvement for us. Then this slide talks about author contribution from target region. By target region, we mean US, UK, Germany, Japan, and Russia, which is not included in this slide. So as we can see, we are getting a couple of submissions from China, and we also received submission from USA in the year 2020. We hope to keep this trend going and keep on receiving contributions from the target countries. Now, this slide talks about transfers. So transfers is a method by which, if a manuscript is not in the scope of the journal, then it is transferred to the transfer desk, from where it can be sent to another journal without the hassle for the author to resubmit it to another journal. So as we can see, we are receiving submissions. We have received one submission, which means the author whose manuscript was suggested LRSC as a journal has selected our journal. So it is a good sign, but the trend has to, the bars has to grow, and we need more transfers. We need to offer transfer also, so that the authors are given this opportunity in our journal also. Now the next slide talks about usage, which is the download. And as you can see, the downloads have grown. For this year, as we are planning one special issue, I'm sure the visibility is going to increase. I also want to announce over here that once this special issue comes out, we will make it freely accessible for 6 weeks, which will increase the visibility and the downloads of the journal for sure. So moving on to the next slide, here we talk about few of the pointers on how to increase article inflow and citations. So I'm sure we've already taken a few steps, like Professor Verde has gone ahead and invited few of them and people from all across the board. And we have included 3 editorial board members from across the globe. And we are very much hopeful that we'll keep on continuing this trend. So some suggestions from my end, we can invite editorial board members for a fixed tenure, and also clearly stating their responsibilities, expectations as indesirables. Then follow up with them to roll out special issues, maybe from their own subject category, from their own expertise. They can bring out special issues with other guest editors from all across the world based upon their connections in the community. They can also lead us to attract quality submissions in terms of attracting invited submissions from eminent people. Then work alongside editors and editorial board members to increase journal visibility by promoting the journal over various social media platforms within the field and within the community. Include members from all across the globe. Attracting special issues in the journal. This is a major step, and I hope we have already took our first step in this category. And I think we are going to have the special issue very soon from this conference. Hopefully receive good quality submissions also. Then timing is one thing which attracts author. So a TAT of the journal is one attractive point for the authors who want to publish their work in a stipulated time frame. So a fixed timeline for the editorial board expansion also, keeping it as a target. Food for thought for the editorial board members if they want to take this away. Timely automated reminders to authors, reviewers, handling editors to improve TAT. Springer is equally responsible for this, and we'll make sure the reports are sent on time. Keeping an eye on the trends of submission and also on the number of articles that are getting published. So number of online first article has to be growing, because growth in submission and in publication is directly proportional to the growth of the journal. And publishing special issues in hot topics and maximum papers in the first half of the year, so that we can attract more and more citations, which will lead us to getting indexed into Scopus, thereafter Web of Science. Way forward for the years to come, food for thought, keeping an eye on the number of articles that are getting published, keeping an eye on the submission trend as it is directly proportional to the health of the journal. Then best practices to increase visibility and usage, making use of social media to publicize interesting paper. We will also make sure that we keep including the LRSC papers into various marketing activities that are done at Springer. Invited papers, and once an invited paper is accepted and published, we can go ahead and make it freely accessible for 4 to 6 weeks and put it under the category of editor's choice paper and publicize it, so that this will give a kind of visibility to the journal. Then video pitch of interesting articles can be put across on the journal's website. Attracting topical issues from well-known international guest editors. We also plan to apply for Scopus indexing by July 2022, as discussed with our EIC, Professor Verde, after analyzing all the criteria and requirement. My next slide talks about the new development, which says LRSC is now a transformative journal. So being a transformative journal is technically there's no difference between a transformative journal and a hybrid journal. A hybrid journal is a journal wherein the authors can publish both subscription and open access article by paying an APC or by the funds and grants that they receive. Becoming a transformative journal means we will continue to do so. We'll continue to publish subscription articles and open access articles. But once we reach to a threshold of 75% of content of the journal getting published and as an OA model, we will flip to an open access journal. So since it is very unlikely right now, because mostly the contributions are coming from Central Asia, we have taken this flip just to make sure that we are included in the list of transformative journals, and the authors who are allowed to publish only in the list of transformative journals because of the grants and the funds that they receive, they will be publishing with us, which will attract global authors to the journal and also attract good quality papers to the journal. So how will the author pay money in this transformative board? Invariably, none of the author pay money by their pockets. So the money for the APC comes in transformative journals comes from the transformative deals that Springer has with various countries and institutions. So Springer has a deal which is a read and publish deal, wherein the institute gets to read X number of papers and gets to publish Y number of papers with us in open access model. So these are the countries where we do have deals, and the number of institutes are also mentioned. In this slide talks about where we are in terms of read and publish deals, and Springer is way ahead than other publishers. There are other deals also which are in pipeline, and we expect to receive papers from other countries and increase our global share. These are the number of participating institutions from the compact partners, and as you can see, we have spread our TA agreements almost all over the world. We expect good rise in terms of quality papers and OA content in our journal also. My last slide talks about the announcements, which Professor Verde has already taken over. So LRSC journal is now freely accessible to all the SRESA society members. Please go ahead and log in through your society website. Do let us know in case you find any difficulty. We want you to read your own journal. The second announcement talks about Springer SRESA Best Paper Awards. So we are really delighted to announce this. From this year, we'll give 3 awards for the best papers, which will be worth of 150 euros each. And this is going to be book coupons. So we'll provide it to the 3 best papers. So this brings me to the end of the presentation. All the questions are welcome now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Sonal, for giving such a lucid presentation. I think 3-4 points are very clear from Ms. Sonal's presentation. That one is that we are in a safe hand. That means Springer is one of the biggest, publisher of journals, reputed journals, I would say. Number one. Number two, they have a very good office to invite new journals, and then finally taking it safely to the higher ends in terms of Scopus and UGC and all that. So thank you so much. And I think you've given beautiful statistics for what we are, where we have to go, and what all we are supposed to do. Now, my points on SRESA journal, Life Cycle Reliability and Safety Engineering, LRAC, in short we call LRAC, is the one that, for first 5 years, the SRESA did development of this journal, publishing of this journal, and we published for 5 years. And by the end of 2nd year or 3rd year, we were almost on our own in terms of producing the journal, getting authors on board to write the papers and all that. And in fact, I will be happy to share that we were able to match the cost of production plus whatever marketing we used to do, and we were happy. In the meantime, there was a talk with Springer, because why the reason was we didn't have a software which does the automation of receiving papers and passing it through review and then finally publishing and production. We didn't have that mechanism, so that was taking us a lot of time. So this Springer's offer came, and I think initially Springer, normally they are very strict in their criteria, but the final end was that Springer took our journal with pride. And now you can see after 5 years, they are proudly presenting it. They are also telling the area for improvement. But here I will not forget the first issue that CESA published, because we didn't have any background or experience on doing that. I would like to name one person with me. He is Shri D. Mathur. The way he struggled with me for bringing out the first issue, because down the line 1 week, this issue was to be launched in Chennai. Again, it was in Chennai, actually, SRI, Safety Research Institute, and we finally completed it, and we could launch the journal in time in 2012. So this first issue always carries a very special thing in my, and that's why you will see on bookshelf my Springer journals, that is CESA published and Springer published. They are there in the book. The second thing was it is really insight. We got very good people from Springer. One, you can see Sonal Madam, Miss Sonal Chaudhary, her full name is, and the way they carried forward, Aishwarya Madam and Soumya Madam, they are working in different departments of Springer. Sonal Madam for overall in charge, Aishwarya Madam for production, and Swana Madam is for some, organizing the lineup and all that. Swana Madam. So, okay. So I really thank them at this point of time. But all across this journey of 10 years, actually, this was not a scientific journal. It was an engineering journal. And engineers are very poor in publishing and this kind of thing. So very people on earth, and then you could make it. So you see the advisory team, editorial team, which was formed, the chief editors. I am one of the chief editors. I have 2 chief editors with me, but practically Sonal and all, they depend on me actually. And of course, it cannot be done like 3 editors and working at different ends. So Professor Pett, who was one of the co-editors, chief editors, he served for 10 years. And now we have new chief editor, Michael Asperman. So we are 3 again, Professor Verma from Norway. So we form a team. And then we have a beautiful team of managing editors. And I think I should be thankful to the managing editors. And I would like to go personally calling their name, Shri N.S. Joshi, Dr. V. Gopika, Dr. Shri D. Mathur, Dr. Tej Singh, Dr. Sanjay Chaturvedi, who has recently joined us. They are putting in immense effort in publishing this journal, And then the most important thing, the authors, which kept us going by contributing the papers. As I told you, engineering, you don't have too many, engineers who publish papers. So it is very difficult. So the authors around, they have from India and from abroad, they have contributed a lot for the, I would say, success of these journals. And of course, the reviewers. Reviewers is a very difficult position, because in between they don't get anything other than reviewing it. So it is their honorary job. We are very happy. And of course, I want to go on. And now our new step, as Ms. Sonal told, it is UGC approval and then Scopus. Scopus, I think Springer will try, and UGC, we have already put up our application. With that, probably our manuscript number of, in fact, our rejection rate is very high actually, 30%. Just to this reflects on our quality, the kind of quality that we are trying to maintain. Our 30% papers are getting rejected, coming from various corners, even from abroad, because we don't want to just get into something, and but our objective is to work continuously to improve the quality. So with this, I, as one of the chief editor of the journal, feel happy. And I really feel happy sharing with you all our experience when Sonal Madam is there. And I want to tell thanks to her because she has been making all special efforts all across during publishing. We'll go take it to higher levels, and probably Scopus is somewhere there in July. So okay. So thank you very much for your patience hearing. Thank you very much. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, Sonal ma'am and Vardhe sir, for giving us an insight of LRSC journal. We hope LRSC journal becomes a very popular one for the researchers for publishing their research works, and it spreads its wings across the globe. We are also happy to hear from you that the steps are being taken for applying for indexing, and which is really a positive news for academicians like me. Next, I would like to invite Dr. C. Senthil Kumar of AARB Chennai to deliver a formal vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, please proceed.
It gives me immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for the virtual conference of National Conference on Reliability and Safety 2022. And this is the 5th NCRS conference, but it is the first conference of NCRS being conducted virtually. On behalf of the organizing committee of NCRS 2022, I place on record our sincere gratitude to Dr. Anandavalli, Director, CSIR Structural Engineering Research Center, Chennai, who readily agreed to be the chief guest of the conference in spite of her busy schedule. Thank you, ma'am. We are all inspired by your gracious presence and participation. I thank Professor P.V. Vardhe, who has been the driving force behind the successful conduct of this event. He has been guiding the whole team right from day one, providing constant encouragement and support at every point of time. I thank Professor Raghu Prakash, Chairman of NCRS 2022, who was instrumental in organizing this event and for developing the conference webpage, which facilitated easy dissemination of conference information and facilitating the submission of abstracts and papers online with authors. I thank Dr. K. Balaji Rao, co-chairman of NCRS 2022, for his untiring efforts in communicating and coordinating the keynote lectures and in arranging the chairpersons for the technical sessions. Dr. Balaji Rao was a key person to guide the technical committee to organize and group the 56 abstracts received in appropriate technical sessions and for the overall management of technical sessions. I thank Dr. Muthu Kumar, Director, Center for Reliability, for his valuable suggestions and contributions during the planning of NCRS 2022. I thank all the keynote speakers, Professor P.K. Kapoor, Amity University, Professor Bernard Rolfe, Deakin University, Australia, Professor Justimir, Mercy Academy, UK, Professor C.S. Manohar, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, Professor Baidurya Bhattacharya, IIT Kharagpur, Professor Subrata Chakrabarti, IAEST, Shibpur, for having taken the time and agreed to share their invaluable experience in the area of reliability and safety. A special thanks to Professor Bernard, as he has to deliver the talk at a very late hour from Australia, almost at midnight. I thank all the chairpersons of the technical session for agreeing to be part of the conference and all the reviewers of the full-length papers. I thank Dr. Sujata and her colleague at Shivnada University for this wonderful IT support, and Ms. Saili Vardhe for voluntarily agreeing to contribute the compilation of book of abstracts. I thank all the authors for submitting the abstracts and for their oral presentation in NCRS 2022. I also thank the participants who have virtually joined the conference and request the participants for lively discussions during the sessions. I am also happy to share that every single aspect of this virtual conference NCRS 2022 was entirely arranged through virtual meetings and discussions. The organizing team members were at different geographical locations, and all the arrangements were coordinated through virtual mode without even a single face-to-face meeting. Draft documents were exchanged electronically, and it was a huge task. And all of this was possible by untiring efforts of the organizing and technical team of NCRS 2022, consisting of Professor Raghu Prakash, Professor Balaji Rao, Dr. Muthu Kumar, Dr. Sujata, Dr. Vaishnavi, Ms. Saili, and of course with the overall guidance of Professor Vardhe for making this virtual event a reality. Thank you very much. Over to you, ma'am.
Madam.
Thank you, sir.
Madam,
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
want to tell only one small thing.
Please, sir.
While we have given the responsibility to Dr. Senthil to thank, he has thanked everyone, but I would like to thank him for his untiring effort and the kind of effort that he has put in bringing out the whole thing. Even when he was traveling the car, he was trying to do things. I would like to thank Dr. Senthil Kumar for his untiring efforts.
Thank you very much.
Yes. No, I cannot thank more than that. You need much more than that, but I can say that a great thanks to you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay. I now request all the participants to just switch on your video so that we can have a group photograph virtually. All the participants, can you please switch on your video so that we can have a group photo virtually? Vemprasan sir, please go ahead. Okay. Thank you so much, Vemprasan sir, for giving this idea and making it successful. Now, with this, we are at the end of the formal inaugural, and we'll be ready to listen to our guest speakers who have wide knowledge in the area of reliability and safety. The conference keynote speaker is Professor P.K. Kapoor, a senior person and who is a professor emeritus in the Amity University. We all know that he is a pioneer in the field of reliability. So I request Dr. K. Balaji Rao to kindly take over the session by introducing Professor P.K. Kapoor. Balaji Rao, sir.
Yes. I'm introducing now. It is my pleasure to introduce Professor P.K. Kapoor, Amity University. Professor P.K. Kapoor is currently the director of Amity Center for Interdisciplinary Research, Amity University, Noida. She has been the former dean of the Faculty of Mathematical Sciences and former head of the Department of Operational Research, University of Delhi. His vast research experience in the areas of software reliability, optimization, innovation diffusion modeling in marketing, and multi-criteria decision making as a tool for interdisciplinary research in human resources development, marketing of brands, big data projects, adoption, and other areas of management is phenomenally illustrated through his work with over 42 PhD and 25 MPhil scholars. He is an author of 2 books entitled Software Reliability Assessment with OR Applications, brought out by Springer UK in 2011, and Contributions to Hardware and Software Reliability, published in 1999, World Scientific Singapore, and he is editor-in-chief of International Journal of Systems Assurance Engineering and Management, published by Springer. He is the series editor of book series Asset Analytics, Performance and Safety Management, published by Springer. He has executed various research projects from UGC, DRDO in the areas of software reliability and innovation diffusion modeling. He has been the president of Society for Reliability Engineering, Quality and Operations Management since 2000 and former president of Operational Research Society of India. He has edited 7 volumes of conference proceedings and special issues of various international journals. He has over 350 research papers published in top international and national journals and proceedings of repute. He has delivered several keynote addresses, invited talks in various prestigious international and national conferences, and has been invited to deliver lectures in international universities in Sweden, Denmark, South Africa, Serbia, etc. He has been recently awarded with the Best Teacher in Operations Management by Bloomberg and UTV and Lifetime Achievement Award for Global Leadership and Pioneering Contributions to the field of software reliability engineering, along with an award, within quotes, for his dedicated contributions to the development of DQM Research Center, unquote, Serbia, June 2014. With this short introduction, I will request Professor P.K. Kapoor to deliver the keynote address, conference keynote address, please.
No, we cannot. Yeah, thank you, Professor Balaji Rao. Yeah, it's already, we are past 4 o'clock. What is that? Yeah, my throat is a little bad. Bear with me. Today's topic, if you see that, this is mostly based on modeling, mathematical modeling, and it shows the interface between different disciplines. In my case, it shows in my present talk, it shows the interface or what you call interdisciplinary research in the areas of software reliability and technology management. Normally, we try to overlook the application of one field in another, but I think I advocate that we should always look at some kind of interface between the fields which specially use mathematical modeling. Yeah, in this, but before I do that, little bit of preliminaries is required so that you can appreciate what follows. The content of the talk starts from software reliability, growth modeling, NHPP based SRGM, the famous models Goi Locomotive, Yamda, Kapurga, and then the terminology we use in the models, the testing effort, change point, proposed research is based on the following 3 papers. One is under submission, one is published in technology, forecasting and social change. It is not my paper, it belongs to my students. And the last paper, 3rd or 4th, is published in Annals of Operations Research, which is written with me. And if you read all the 4, you see the interface very clearly. And you are encouraged to do more in this area, to find out more kind of indisciplinarity in the model making. So this is, yeah, I will not go into small definitions. This is the first famous model I'm intentionally showing. I do it for 2-3 minutes. That basically, when you develop a software, after having written the code, you're in or before releasing the software, you are at the testing phase. The better the testing, the better the reliability of the software. So you use some mathematical models, to find out how many bugs are detected, how many remaining, and see what we can do. Can we release the software at this point of time, or we continue testing? Because the more you test, the more it costs. So you have to have an interface between cost, reliability, etc., risk, and so on. So this is a simple equation written. When you start testing, you start with the assumption that there are finite number of bugs sitting inside. That is A in this case. And you develop an equation of detection, rate of change of fault detection is given by a constant of proportionality A minus empty. Empty is already detected. The remaining is A minus empty. Solve this equation, you get an exponential model. That is why it is the first model that was developed was by Goei Lokomoto, and it is after his name, published way back in 79. And then there came the second model of Japanese, very popular model called the S-shaped model due to Yamada, published in 83. It consider when you do the testing, a failure takes place, you find the cause of the failure, and then you remove the fault. So you have in a way two models combined into one. One first is the number of failures, rate of change of failures, and second is rate of change of fault removal or fault removal. And when you solve the two together, after substituting the value of MF, you get this equation. And if you draw the graph of this equation, you find it is S-shaped curve. That is why the model is known as S-shaped model. It takes care of lumpness in the growth phenomena when the software detection process may not be 100% smooth, which is quite likely. Then you apply this model. It also predicts the number of bugs, and when you divide the number of bugs with the total bugs, number of bugs to be eventually detected, it is a kind of reflection on the reliability of the software. And then is the 92 Kapoor and Garg model. It is more flexible. It comprises of two components. This rate of change of detection, removal, detection. They are intermediately used. First term is the bugs directly detected, removed at the rate P. And the second term is MT upon A have been removed, proportion is removed, or they remove from the remaining models, from the remaining bugs at the rate Q. In first, it is being detected by at the rate P, directly detected, and other one is through the detection, through already bugs which are already detected, or they help in detecting more bugs when the failure takes place. And this is a logistic curve, which is depending on P values of P and Q, it can turn into a exponential model or the S-shaped model. So that is why it is called a flexible model. Please remember that it is the A which I am going to attack now. These are well-known old models. What has been recently done in 2021, 22, this has been changed. Yeah, the testing effort and so on. Change point models and proposed. Yeah, this is the rate of change of detection is dependent on BT and expected value of A, T minus MT. A, which is eventual number of faults to be detected, I change it into a time-dependent detection process. That's why it's written as MT. So it is dynamic in nature. And BT is the fault detection rate, time-dependent fault detection rate. And you find this is, so instead of using A, now you have dynamic nature of AT, and that is given by this equation, d by dt of 80. How the bugs remaining bugs in the software, how they are detected, how they change over a period of time, how they are removed over a period of time. And this is given by d by dt at, and this is sigma t into a naught, initial number of bugs, a to be where the increase in the number of bugs because of no more potential number of bugs minus the AT which are there in the software. So this is the equation, the new equation which has come up, So we make it a stochastic equation by adding a white noise model, white noise parameter, which is gamma nu t gamma. This is a noise factor. When multiplied by all the rest. And then this is rewritten as this function of dt and dwt. This is stochastic. Yeah, I will. And when you solve this equation, you get this solution. AT is given by this. And expected value of AT is this, given by that. And if you put bt to be logistic function, put back the value, you get the MT to be this. So this MT, we have substituted the value here. From here you come to this is the final solution of MT, which makes the fault, inherent fault, lying dormant, lying inside the software, which we detect during testing, is also dynamic in nature. Yeah, you may ask a question, which you did, that why not have fault detection rate as a more dynamic or stochastic in nature, like the function AT. Well, at the time, for the time being, it is not proven yet that you can have both of them together, both detection process and the fault content process are both stochastic in nature. They are not soluble yet. And then we come to the numerical part, the proposed model 1, 2, and with 1, the data is taken from genome. And these are the earlier models compared with this model with exponential distribution and logistic distribution proves to be better in terms of all parameters, in terms of, and this is goodness of fit. You can see how well the fit takes place and so on. Release time problem is also a $100 question that normally people don't talk of release time problem. When to release a software. It is through experience they do that, but there is no mathematical formulation. Slowly we have developed, our group has developed some criteria to find out the release time, optimal release time of the software. And then comes, this is the traditional cost model, cost of number of bugs detected in time t. T is the release time which is to be found, optimal time, release time. And this is MTL minus MT. This is the bugs remaining. TLC is the life cycle. Life cycle is MTLC, which could have been taken as A or AT minus MT, which have been detected. And finally, the cost of testing, C3T, subject to the reliability constraint and so on. Reliability is given by this, and you can solve this, use some software. We use normally there's a software called Maple, or you can use some other software to find out the optimal release time. And then there are several other. This is now I show you this, how this is connected with some people use it, the word marketing. I call it technology forecasting. Technology forecasting, you may say, or you may say technology technology dependent or technology dependent model. And model, see here, this is adoption process. When I say technology forecasting or technology management, we are interested in knowing when you introduce a product, when you, how do we know how much you want to predict, how many products have been sold, how much technology is sold, and how it is doing. Is it popular or not? Or shall we? And there is a demand for more production and so on. And this has a structure similar to the model that I showed you before, software model, which is applicable to technology management. Equation 3.31. Is it exactly the equation looks like what I had shown you before? And then you use, again, use the value of MT, which is taken as a differential equation, which has not been taken so far for the last 20 years. The last model was done by my group 20 years before. And after that, nobody touched this aspect that we should have a differential equation of the product content or technology content. Of late, only 2 years back, student hit upon that and solved this problem. And MT was taken as a differential equation and what it should be equal to. Yeah, this is a solution alpha T into M naught plus M minus M, MT. Exactly similar. You have solved this problem, AT comes out to be this, alpha T. No, where is the d by dt? Yeah, this is the equation. And solving this stochastic equation, this solution is MT is this. Very similar to the one we have shown. And this is the expected value of MT, what you call the technology, or the technology is changing. This is what it shows. And then the two cases we consider again, when you take GT to be exponential and GT to be logistic in nature. And the two solutions are given. One is here, and T, other one is here for logistic. And then solve, you get a solution, and then apply. There is use some software, estimate the parameters, find out MT explicitly, And this is now the third model that I show you. Yeah, this is the model with testing effort. Same model I use now instead of the time, which is the CPU time, Unlike that, I use as a other one d by dt mt divided by rate of change of testing effort. Testing effort, as you know, is a CPU time. The time that is used and the manpower used together makes it as the testing effort, except that you change the T by xt, and this is, again, this equation looks similar to one shown before. And then we take alpha T to be again stochastic in nature, substitute the value gamma, new gamma T, you get a stochastic equation. And the next one, WT is a introduction rate, fault introduction rate for the purpose of developing a cost, continuous state space, fault introduction rate, fault rate with the effect of testing effort. We characterize WT as WT into XT. Yeah, this is XT, derivative of capital XT distribution. The solution of this is again given by this. Yeah, this one, which is again, you see, similar to the two models that I showed, except that T is replaced by XT. It has been proved that you can do that, XT. And again, you apply you use exponential distribution with XT and logistic distribution with, or two-way Erlang distribution with XT, which is given by this. And the substitute value of GT, you get one empty as this, and so on. Yeah, what is the time? Dr. Vardhe, how long I speak?
Sir, you have 5 more minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. I will just maybe stop with this is the model which is published. This paper is published in Annals of Operations Research. So this is nothing but jointly optimized software time to market and optimal testing time. We have taken as if software is also a sort of a marketing problem, a technology problem. It is a technology problem. Sometimes we use this as a technology management, technology forecasting. Ultimately, these models forecast the technology, how it is doing, and so on. The last, it's not the least, but I will, as you say, I have to stop, but this is very interesting. We did a model. We say we don't normally, as soon as you finish the testing, you release the software. Now a question arises, somebody said, why release? Continue with testing, so release the software so that you can compete in the market with your product. Otherwise you lose time to sell it in the market. And at the same time, you keep testing, upgrade the model, and pass it to the customer. So we have time 0, tau is the release time to market, which is the release time, and testing termination. Stop testing here. And this is the software life cycle. And then we find out tester, and then back to, yeah, in this interval, you have only the testing. And here you have the testing and the user. Tester and the user both working together. Tester aim is not to do anything, but normally they may come across a vulnerability, which is more cumbersome to remove than the fault. And this is the last the usage cycle. So you need a function for usage, which we borrowed from marketing and solved this problem and found out the optimal time, tau star, and the optimal release time, the optimal termination time, optimal testing stop time, T star. And the results came to be very good. And there's a lot of mathematics, which I'm not going to show now. And again, we solve this numerically. Numerically, it is proven that the models are worthy, and they prove better than prediction is better than the models done before. And yeah, cost and all. Yeah, then we have used multi-utility theory, which I'm not going to do now. So you have usage problem from 0 to tau. Only you have the tester. Tau to capital T, you have both tester and the user, and the T capital T to TLC, the user again, only the user. There's no tester. And multi-utility theory, we made it into a multi-objective model. Multi-objective utility, when is the utility maximum, subject to, depending on the value of tau and capital T. These two models, again, you can see utility is more than here. It is 0.6, 0.5, 0.57, 0.50, and so on, for logistic and so on. So this is one part of my talk, basically, which if you say I can stop here, and these are the references. And the next is a altogether different game. I will not touch on that, but that's also what is important, is how to find the release time. When to release a software, when to market a software. Depends how you want to use it as a software model or a marketing model, technology forecasting model. And you also have a journal called Technology Forecasting and Social Change, a very important, useful journal which has a impact factor of 8 point something. It is published there by your group. Thank you very much, Professor Verde, and thanks for your indulgence. Thank you very much. Any questions, you are free to ask.
Professor, thank you for a lucid talk. And my experience is always it is very absorbing and interesting to hear you on software reliability. I have one simple question, sir. This is related to safety critical softwares, because we are setting up a lab at IIT Madras, Professor Raghu Prakash would know. And then the safety critical software is the software where we have parallel bins, so that if one module is faulty, the second module and third module will take care, okay, and like that. But if two modules are faulty, then we take it to the safe state. But the problem is, okay, it takes care of some individual channel failure, but there are some common cause failure which can remain, you can say, redundant or dormant in more than one channel, and it appears over a period of time due to some combination of concepts. But then the issue is, this kind of system, they can't afford even one failure of that type, because if the safety device has to actuate on demand, it has to actuate. So have we done anything on software reliability related to common cause issues? Is my first question. So, sir, if you can elaborate on this.
Sorry, if I'm not wrong, common cause failure I thought takes place only in hardware. You know, we use so many data. We never, nobody ever talked of common cause failure. Common cause failure is not, they say, is associated with software reliability. It happens in hardware. I am not sure, but I'm not.
Because the regulators are not believing on, rather they have high confidence on digital system because they have software.
Yeah.
And if a common cause component is sitting on the redundancy, or even if it diversity reduces that probability of unsafe situation, but then redundancy especially get knocked off when we have a common cause. Thank you, but you said it's good enough. So far we are all depending on validation verification methods in software.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Sujata madam, you want to invite people for asking questions if you feel like.
Sure, sir. Audience, if you have any questions to Professor P.K. Kapoor, so please ask them. He will be readily answering all the questions.
This is Manohar. Can I ask a question?
Please, sir.
Yeah, see, thank you, Professor Kapoor. I don't work in this area, but I was just curious to notice something, so I would just like you to comment. One is that all your stochastic differential equations appear to be linear.
Yeah,
is there any, is it just mathematical expediency, or is there anything that makes you believe that these are linear? And a related question, may I just complete? Is that your noise terms are all white. That means your response is also having Markovian property. That is a one-step memory. So is there anything that helps to believe that things will be forgotten in that sense?
Sorry?
So the linearity and Markovian property, what is the basis for it?
The purpose was stochasticity brings in dynamic nature of the model. It is, noise, whether it is white or some other noise, it creates disturbance, and then the detection process becomes faulty. It doesn't come to the level it should be. That's why we brought in the stochasticity or the dynamicity, so that detection process, as we all know, is dynamic in nature. And somehow we could solve that, and we were happy that we can bring in this area and see how it compares to the existing models without dynamic stochasticity. We found it has an edge over there. That's all we did that time. This time, and this is, and your other question is, we are linear in nature. Yeah, then ultimately, yeah, it becomes very, ultimately the curve is very smooth. When you take the expectation of 80, it becomes very smooth. So long as you don't take expectation, it is curvilinear in nature. But as soon as you take the expectation, it becomes very handy to handle that, and it is able to. Yeah, normally it works better than the models that exist, but not many people are aware of this because it becomes highly mathematical. It becomes very cumbersome to solve that. That's what I know. But since we belong to both, we are in the faculty of mathematical sciences, we can handle both mathematics and the what is called dynamicity or stochasticity, and the cost and other things. We could handle, well, the multiplier. This is what is the dynamic nature of the model itself. It was not so deep, but we had to apply this method, that method. We applied, first we applied MOUT, we applied, we then used the software, in order to solve that multi-objective, multi-attribute utility theory. And then later also applied some people, some GA, genetic algorithm and so on, to make it work better. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I hope it.
Yeah, I'll think about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ma'am, one question. Can I ask?
Please, sir.
Hello. Yeah, Professor Kapoor, this is Dr. Senthil from AARB. I want to have some clarification on how do you ensure the software testing adequacy? So that is one question. And second one is the software may contain some errors that may be accumulating over a period of time, and it can come out only after the accumulation exceeds a particular limit and lead to an error. So how do you test this kind of errors or bugs in the software?
Say that again, please.
The first question is, how do you ensure the software testing adequacy? Whether this amount of testing is enough to ensure that the reliability.
Let me answer the first one.
Yeah.
The testing adequacy is difficult to know. It is only the experience which tells you, I must stop this, release the software now. Otherwise, it will be too late for the market to accept that product. So it is through experience. There is no formula as such which tells you that stop testing. It comes through experience over a period of time. That's what I have met people from the industry. They tell me they never applied anything. So it is totally an experience. That is why you have a testing team. One is better than the other in this area or that area, and then they arrive at a solution. Let us release it before it is too late. No, you can continue testing indefinitely, but who is the buyer? Who will buy your product? You have no buyer left, and so on. And which is the other one?
Other one is the accumulation error. Errors gets accumulated. It may not be significant initially, but they may lead to an error after a particular time of accumulation. So how do you ensure that?
Fault error accumulation.
Yeah, accumulation.
Yeah, accumulation. The data that we have is error accumulation data. No, you give the input, you don't get the desired output, it is a failure. You may have such 10, 15 failures, you have a data, and then apply some software. This is a tool. What is either you apply SPSS, you apply R system, you apply some soft computing tool, and then you find this data, which is the accumulated data. It gives you the total number of bugs that still exists in the software, which was not possible otherwise. You may use that terminology as accumulated data. We normally the bug is removed only after a certain amount of data is accumulated. That's all I can say. Thank you. I hope
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the audience?
I'm not.
Yeah, sir. Good afternoon, sir. So I am Dr. Velmurugan from STQC, Center for Reliability, Chennai. So my question is, see, now today's modern scenario, we are using the third-party components for integrating and building application. How do your model account of the third-party components that are used in the applications?
Sorry?
Third-party components that are used in the application when we are building an application.
Yeah. How the model is useful? Did you say that?
Say like from Aadhaar we get API. API is being used integrated in my application, one of it. So how this model can predict the reliability?
No, the model, it is meant for predicting reliability. It is, reliability doesn't come straight away. You have the data, you predict the number of bugs still lying in the software. After having tested, you still find there are bugs still in the software. And then having known that how many bugs are there, then you apply any this thing, then you are able to predict the bugs. My brain is, I had a problem with the second phase of Corona. I have a memory loss. Sometimes when I'm speaking, suddenly it goes off my brain. I suffer from that. Still, sometimes it happens with me. So the question, I know it remains unanswered, that the second part, can you repeat if you can, so that I can.
Yeah, see, in today's scenario, for any applications, say like any web applications, we take some APIs, some different third-party components that are integrated in the application. We don't have any data on that, how it was developed and what was the issues related to that. Should we include that within the part of application, again test it and get the things done, or?
No, first fix it and then do the testing.
Professor Kapoor, I think can I step in what he's trying to tell, third party or something, see, the gateway is quality assurance, whether it is first party, second party, third party.
Yeah.
If you have to include some component in your system, then you have to have your own quality criteria. If you are meeting those quality criteria, the component is in. If it is not meeting, doesn't matter whether it is first party, second party, or any party, the component cannot be used, especially if it is used for safety critical applications. So, I mean, there the procedures, what Professor Kapoor has listed or formulated, they are same actually. This first party, second party comes into picture when either you have unavailability of certain system, or you deliberately want to include in your system because of some mode of failures, which can be encountered in the available component. So but then quality is the criteria. That's it. This is the answer. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
I'll keep in mind answer.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, Professor Kapoor, I think I would like to thank you. And I think many more participants would like to interact with you. I think if Professor Kapoor doesn't share, I'll share his email address with you. It is pkkapoor1@gmail.com. And I'm telling you, he is a reservoir of knowledge as far as software is concerned, actually. And I don't know, I always feel like telling, now he's defeating even Dharmendra of film industry. Okay, he's my good friend, my senior. So you can see we have a Dharmendra in our reliability engineering also. So I think now it's time to give a big round of applause to Professor Kapoor for his excellent presentation. I should hear this claps. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Professor Vardhe. Thank you, Ms. Sujata and others. Thank you very much for bearing with me. Thank you.
Madam, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kapoor sir. We are really indebted to you because you had shared your knowledge and you're constantly giving us a helping hand by sharing your knowledge. I hope many people, as Vardhe sir said, many people will be contacting you after the conference. So kindly guide them. Now, with this, we are at the end of the inaugural session of this conference. So I'm ending this meeting to start the other one. So in the other one, we will be having the technical sessions, that is the paper presentations and so on. So I request all the participants to kindly leave this meeting and log in using the other meeting ID, which is already communicated to you through your email. Okay, so please, thank you. I'm ending the meeting. Thank you.
Let's give a big round of applause. Yeah, thank you.